Gorillaz is one of the most successful virtual bands which remains active to this day. Created in 1998 by Damon Albarn, known as the lead vocalist of the band Blur, and Jamie Hewlett, a renowned designer and illustrator. The first album was released on March 26, 2001, with its first official single being the song Clint Eastwood. The unusual premise of mixing various musical styles to create a dark tone, along with lyrics that combine a traditional chorus and rap, presented in an innovative video, made this first single an excellent introduction that exploded in popularity. The track fuses alternative rock, hip-hop beats, reggae, and spaghetti western influences. It was partially produced in 3 different studios. The demo started in the UK at Studio 13, located at 13 Westbourne Grove, which is owned by Damon Albarn. That location no longer exists, but the studio continues at a different location. The first demo was recorded there and featured a drum machine and a guitar. For the final version, however, they used a couple of unusual instruments. The intro bass loop was extracted from the Suzuki Omnicore OM300, an electronic instrument launched in the 1980s. This model included a pre-programmed beats. In this case, Rock 1 was used.
I want to show you here, each one of the sections have...
They also use a Solina string ensemble, a polyphonic analog string synthesizer, to create the eerie sound you can hear at 123 in this scene. The reggae portion was produced at GeeJam Studios, a hotel and boutique in Portland Parish, Jamaica. Unlike Studio 13, it is surrounded by nature. Many important albums and songs were produced in this studio, such as No Doubt's Rocksteady. Artists such as Rihanna and Amy Winehouse have also worked there. Reggae influences included the use of the echo and reverb drench effects, also called the dream effect. The dropouts, which are moments when instruments suddenly disappear for a dramatic effect.
Remember that it's all in your head.
This is all known in reggae as dub style. And finally, the hip-hop part was recorded at the Glue Factory in San Francisco, United States. The hip-hop influences includes, of course, Del the Funky Homosapiens rap verse, the sampling, that includes the very own intro, the turntablism, the constant loop, starting after the intro of the song. Originally, the rapping part was recorded by the British group Five Live Cypher. This version was more focused on 3 spirits possessing Russell. Then the automator at that moment was working with Del the Funky on another album, and he felt that his voice could add more contrast to voice of 2D character. Also, the style of rapping and lyrics of Del was more appropriate for song narrative. So they let him improvise, using the base of the spirits of the original approach, but converting it into just one. And that was the version that appeared in the album. Five Live Cypher version is available on YouTube and was also released as a B-side and included on the compilation album G-Sides. That is the closest version we can have to what the original demo was. Convincing record labels executives to support the band wasn't as difficult as developing an entire marketing infrastructure from scratch. There was no real artist to interview. It was virtual. Where would they be placed? On MTV or Nickelodeon? If they were successful, the most modern techniques available could be used. Interactive websites, pre-recorded media interviews, concerts with screens, and computer-animated videos. There were lots of ideas, but the reality was that no one knew if this would work in an industry full of boy bands. The record label believed in them, but the rest of the music industry was skeptical. Who could believe that you are going to make real music if you are just as silly?
Cartoon. Let's get started.
The song samples sounds inspired by the Ecstasy of Gold, a song from the soundtrack of the 1966 film The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The producer perceived the original song as haunting and eerie and used that perception as the main motif of the new song. That melody was written by Ennio Morricone, a two-time Oscar winner who composed more than 500 film scores. He is best known for his work on spaghetti western soundtracks, and he also collaborated on several Quentin Tarantino films. Another key element is the use of a melodica. A melodica is a small keyboard instrument that you play by blowing air through a mouthpiece. It combines features of a keyboard and a wind instrument. Many listeners describe its tone as similar to a harmonica. In the song, it sounds like this. Here is a short part of the Western movie theme that inspired it. Together, these elements give the Gorillaz song a clear Western atmosphere. The film The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was started by a really young actor named Clint Eastwood. They started using it as a placeholder, but it ended up being the final name. The movie was part of the Western genre, which was really popular in the 60s. Basically, it was a cowboy film, or if you are younger, a Red Dead Redemption movie. Despite the use of his name, the actor never took legal action or mentioned the song. His opinion remains unknown to this day. This feels really weird. Well, I guess I have never been a cartoon before. Whoa! Everything looks amazing and peaceful and in colors. That must cause all this. Well, Del has admitted that he never paid much attention to the song since none of them expected it to blow up as it did. It wasn't until people started telling him that the song was constantly on the radio that he started paying attention. The royalties from the song had such an impact in his finances that they allowed him to pay for his own house. The song went platinum, so he gave the plaque to his mother as a gift. You'll understand why when we dissect the lyrics. I think I should stop converting myself into stuff. Disney might suit me. The production of the video took 4 months and was completed by Passion Animation Studios in London. The studio is known for creating high-quality and innovative commercials, and they also work with Gorillaz on other 3 videos. The video was directed by Jamie Hewlett and Pete Candeland. Jamie Hewlett not only co-directed the video, but also created the visual style of the entire virtual band. For this work, he won the Designer of the Year award in 2006. His career also includes comics such as Tank Girl and Judge Dredd. He later won a BAFTA for his work on the opening credits of the BBC 2008 Summer Olympics opening ceremony. Pete Candeland previously worked at Disney Studios in Sydney. He focused mainly on the animation, bringing Jamie's designs to life. An important moment of his career was a TV Cocoa Pops commercial that combined 2D and CGI animation. That experience played a key role in shaping the visual style of Gorillaz Clint Eastwood video. The mix of 2D and 3D animation is especially clear in the scenes where rocks break apart or rise from the ground, and in the changing backgrounds. Today this might seem simple, but at the time it was a complex and demanding process. The main setting of the video is a graveyard, which was likely influenced by the song's eerie tone. Given the band's name, Gorillaz, they came up with the idea of zombies. What? That used to be Gorillaz. Really? In a graveyard? Oh, come on! I'm surrounded by zombie gorillas? However, as I mentioned earlier, one theory links it to the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, in which one of the most iconic scenes is also set in a cemetery. Later in the Gorillaz lore, we learned that the cemetery is located at the base of Con Studios Hill. They added the gorilla dance just because they thought it would be fun. It also helped break the serious tone of the characters. Their goal was to increase the pace and to make the video feel more unpredictable. The dance moves were inspired by Michael Jackson's Thriller. The animators said they recreated the movements from memory without checking the original video for reference. The Japanese titles were an incidental design decision, since Jamie had just returned from a big trip to Japan. It is also an homage to Asian film intros, which he seems to love, as evidenced by his Instagram. The trip shaped not only the decision to include Japanese text in the video intro, but also the creation of a Japanese girl whose name recalls something related to Japan. Noodles. Finally, the text in the intro is a quote from the 1978 cult classic film Dawn of the Dead, directed by George R. Romero.
Every dead body that is not external.
The t-shirt that 2D wears references the video game Resident Evil, which features the T-Virus created by the Umbrella Corporation. Jamie was also inspired by the clouds and sky in London. As he explained, the skies gave the city a different personality at different times of the day or in different weather, changing the mood of the place. This idea explains the shifting skies and weather seen in the video. Another clear reference appears when Murdoc is grabbed by the crotch and pulled to the ground. This scene is from the 1992 zombie film Brain Dead, directed by Peter Jackson. Jackson is known for directing the Lord of the Rings trilogy. At different points in the video, we see the playback reverse and then played forward again. According to the director, this technique was inspired by the 1999 film The Matrix. He liked the bullet time effect and the idea that video could manipulate time by not making it linear. This is especially evident in the final scene when Noodles kicks the zombie gorilla. At 2:29, the scene where Murdoc runs away was originally meant to be fully animated. However, Pete later admitted that he was too tired to complete it, so he simply faded between two still frames instead. A similar situation happened at the end of the video, when the gorilla turns into a skeleton. This time, it was because they were finishing the project and running out of time. The director also mentioned a small mistake in the scene at 0:27. The character was not supposed to have two eye bags. The video compositor accidentally duplicated one of them, and it remained in the final version. There are 3 additional versions about the music video. The first is the commentary edition, in which Murdoc humorously describes the behind-the-scenes of the video as if he were a real person. And the others are a storyboard version and an animatic version. Thanks to the storyboard, we can see an alternate version of the video, where after the zombie gorillas are defeated, the video's director appears and starts talking to the band members. Then, a vindictive Murdoc hits the director in the head with a guitar, probably because of what the director made them go through to film the video. Incidentally, this is one of the alternative versions of the ghost that were created for Dell. There is a rumor that the ghost was a friend of Russell's, who passed away. Despite uncertainty, the song explores themes of existentialism, happiness, and optimism. The first line, "I ain't happy, I'm feeling glad," expresses a complex mix of emotions, feeling discontent yet hopeful at the same time. Despite achieving great success in the Britpop era, Albarn felt disillusioned with fame and public scrutiny. However, that fame gave him the financial freedom to explore new projects. The sunshine in a bag is widely interpreted as a metaphor for something that holds positivity or relief, like stored happiness, inner potential, inspiration, or escapism that hasn't been yet utilized. The Gorillaz project began to take shape in his mind as a post-blur project, which he was able to explore thanks to having his own recording studio. One line that reflects how Albarn's life was changing as he entered into the new Gorillaz project is, "I'm useless, but not for long." Virtual bands didn't exist back then. Leaving behind his success with Blur to embark on an experimental project, Albarn wrote, "The future is coming on. Albarn has said that the song is about trying to stay positive and find contentment. The most iconic line of the lyrics is, "I got sunshine in a bag," which, according to many sources, is a quote from Clint Eastwood's character in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. In the film, Eastwood's character refers to a saddlebag full of gold as sunshine in a bag. Unfortunately, this quote does not exist in the movie. The phrase was inspired by the film's plot, in which the characters search for $200,000 in Confederate gold coins buried in a grave. While the gold is ultimately discovered in bags inside of a coffin, it's never described as being in a saddlebag. I just wanted to clarify this urban myth. Not everything in the lyrics had a deep background. Delp, the ghost rapper, wrote his part in just 30 minutes, using a book his mother gave him called How to Write a Hit Song. That's why he gave his mother the platinum plaque.
Hey, this is all mine.
She gave him the money to buy the book. And about the ghost, he portrays a spiritual or metaphorical guide who are just listeners to perceive with their minds, not just their eyes, dude. Pushing them toward introspection and deeper awareness. Their verses had a darker, more surreal layer with horror imagery. They amplify the theme of being haunted, not by literal ghosts, but by memories, regrets, and societal pressures. The song became an international hit. It reached number 3 on Billboard's US Alternative Airplay chart. It was certified platinum in the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Canada. It also received gold certification in Australia, Denmark, France, and Germany. In addition, the song achieved a strong success in several countries across Latin America. However, as you can see, the song was never certified double platinum in the United States. To receive certification, the record label must submit sales data to the RIAA, wait for verification, and pay the required fees. It is possible that this process was never completed. The exact reason is unknown. Another common mistake is the claim that this song appears in the Guinness Book of World Records. Gorillaz do hold that record, but it's for being the most successful virtual band, with more than 60 million albums sold worldwide. While researching, I also found another unusual record. The artist was listed as the most successful band on the UK ringtone chart in 2005. That wasn't expected. Poor teachers and parents. Because of this success, the band grew in popularity and became part of the modern pop culture. What started as an experimental project eventually reached mainstream media. The song has appeared in television series such as Daria, Smallville, and Twisted Metal. It also has been featured in video games including NBA 2K14, which has its soundtrack curated by LeBron James. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and Rock Band 4. In August 2025, the band began a collaboration with the video game Fortnite for its Season 10. All the characters were playable and could be customized with different accessories. I recommend watching the trailer as it was very well produced. I hope you liked all the information and that it gives you good memories of those days. The number of subscribers to the channel keeps increasing, and we even reached another milestone with our first super thanks, which was given by the Horme for the video The Story of When I Come Around. This feature is now active for the channel in case you want to support us. Whoa, here it comes. Hey, don't use any lightnings. You can also help by subscribing, sharing the video, or giving it a like. All 3 options are free and helpful. Let me know in the comments which information surprised you the most or which you found most interesting. I would appreciate the feedback. That's it, I'm Rash, and I'll see you in the next re.mental video. Rash.